Hey there, welcome to, well, ain't that interesting? I'm excited to share some of the fantastical stories the AI model, Mistral Nemo, and I have been dreaming up. From mind-bending sci-fi adventures to thrilling fan fiction explorations, we'll dive into worlds of wonder, danger, and endless possibilities. So buckle up, because things are about to get interesting. Subscribe for more doses of imaginative storytelling.
In the gloomy light of a waning moon, the once impregnable fortress of Azkaban loomed like a monstrous shadow over the cold waters of the North Sea. The prison, shrouded in perpetual mist and despair, had failed. Its magical barriers, reinforced by the dark arts of generations of Aurors, had crumbled under an unknown force. The Dementors, once bound to their duties as guardians and guards, now roamed freely, their hunger for souls unchecked. The Ministry of Magic had acted swiftly, dispatching its most elite team to contain the crisis. Harry Potter, now a seasoned Auror with the Order of the Phoenix, led the team. Alongside him were Ron Weasley, Hermione Granger, Neville Longbottom, and Luna Lovegood. They were a testament to the power of friendship and unity, their bond forged in the crucible of war against Voldemort. The team apparated at the edge of Azkaban's grounds, hidden behind a veil of protective charms. The prison was eerily silent, save for the distant howls of the Dementors. Harry could feel the oppressive aura of the place, a chill that seemed to seep into his very bones. "Remember," Harry said, turning to his companions, "our priority is to find out what caused this and reverse it. If we can't control the Dementors, we'll have to destroy them." Ron swallowed hard, looking at Neville for support. The once timid boy had grown into a formidable Auror, his wand hand steady despite the fear in his eyes. Hermione adjusted her glasses, consulting a rolled-up parchment containing their mission details. The prison's warden, Amelia Bones, is among the escaped prisoners. If anyone knows what happened, it might be her. Luna nodded solemnly, her silvery hair gleaming under the dim light of Harry's wand. "I can sense the echoes of something wrong here," she murmured, her eyes unfocused. Harry gave a brisk nod. "All right then, let's proceed. Remember, stay close and keep your wands ready." They moved towards Azkaban, their footsteps muffled by the thick fog that clung to the ground like a spectral blanket. The castle loomed larger with each step, its towers stretching towards the heavens like skeletal fingers. As they approached the entrance, Harry noticed something strange. The heavy iron gates were not only open but twisted and warped as if they had been subjected to immense force. Inside, Azkaban was a labyrinth of despair. The usual echoing moans and cries for mercy were noticeably absent, replaced by an unsettling silence broken only by the distant howls of Dementors. Harry led them through the familiar corridors, his wand casting eerie shadows on the cold stone walls. They found their first clue in the warden's office. The heavy door was ajar, revealing a scene of chaos within. Furniture was overturned, books and papers littered the floor. At the center of the room stood Amelia Bones, or what remained of her. She was bound by dark magic, her body frozen in an agonized scream, her eyes wide with terror. Harry approached cautiously, his wand outstretched. As he neared, Amelia's body began to glow with a sickly green light. Then, with a sudden burst of energy, she lunged at him, her face contorted with rage and fear. Harry threw himself aside, avoiding her attack, but not before she managed to scratch his arm deeply. "Harry!" Hermione cried out, rushing towards him with their emergency healing kit. But Harry waved her off, examining the wound instead. It was a deep gash, but it had been caused by something other than Amelia's nails. Embedded in his flesh were tiny shards of dark, obsidian-like substance. "Get back," he warned, drawing out the fragments with his wand tip. As soon as they were removed, Amelia's body collapsed, her features softening in death. "It's some kind of dark magic," Harry said grimly, pocketing the fragments. "Something powerful enough to control even a senior Auror like Amelia." Neville nodded, his face pale but determined. "We need to find out what happened here, and fast. This could be a new weapon for whoever's behind this." Luna stepped forward, her eyes focused on something only she could see. "There's a residue," she said slowly. "A trail of dark magic leading away from here. We can follow it." They followed Luna through the winding corridors, their footsteps echoing ominously off the cold stone walls. The further they went, the more they realized that Azkaban had been completely overrun by darkness. They passed cell after cell filled with broken, discarded dark magic artifacts, instruments of torture and control used by their wielders to bend prisoners to their will. Finally, Luna led them to a hidden chamber deep within the castle's bowels. Here, they found the source of Azkaban's corruption, a pulsating orb of dark energy, suspended in midair above an altar daubed with symbols of power and domination. The orb throbbed with malevolence, tendrils of shadow snaking out from it like writhing serpents. "It's alive," Hermione whispered, her eyes wide with horror as she examined the orb. "This isn't just dark magic, it's something else entirely." Harry nodded gravely. "Whatever it is, we need to destroy it before it spreads any further." But destroying such a powerful artifact wouldn't be easy. As they prepared their spells, Dementors began pouring into the chamber from every direction. Their presence seemed to fuel the orb's power, causing it to grow larger and more menacing. Ron stepped forward, his wand trembling slightly in his hand. "We need a clear line of sight," he said, his voice steady despite the fear in his eyes. "I'll hold 'em off. You lot destroy that thing." Harry hesitated, but only for a moment. They needed Ron's protection if they were going to succeed. With a nod, he turned back to the orb, Hermione and Luna beside him, Neville providing cover from behind. Ron began chanting the Patronus charm, his wand moving in intricate patterns as he summoned forth his spirit guide. The silvery stag appeared before him, its form shimmering as it repelled the Dementors' advances. Meanwhile, Harry, Hermione, and Luna focused their efforts on destroying the orb. They combined their magic, channeling their energy into a single, powerful spell designed to shatter dark artifacts. As they chanted together, their wands glowing brightly, the orb began to pulse erratically, its defenses weakening under their assault. Suddenly, Neville cried out in pain as a Dementor broke through Ron's defenses and attacked him from behind. Luna immediately rushed to his aid, her own Patronus driving back the creature just long enough for Neville to regain his feet. But the brief distraction had given the orb an opening. With a sudden burst of power, it lashed out at him, tendrils of shadow coiling around Harry's wand arm and pulling him closer to its malevolent heart. "Harry!" Hermione cried out, but her warning came too late. Before anyone could react, Harry was consumed by the orb's darkness. His body convulsed as if racked with pain, his eyes rolling back in his head until only the whites showed. "No!" Ron yelled, desperation making his voice crack like thunder. He redoubled his efforts, summoning forth another Patronus to drive back the Dementors threatening his friends. Meanwhile, Hermione and Luna worked frantically to free Harry from the orb's grasp. They cast Protego Totalum, shield charm after shield charm in an attempt to block its malevolent influence. But for every spell they cast, another tendril of shadow seemed to appear, pulling Harry ever closer to the orb's dark heart. It was then that Neville stepped forward, his wand raised high above his head. "Expecto Patronum," he cried out, his voice steady and sure despite the fear gripping his heart. A brilliant silver Patronus erupted from his wand tip, its form taking the shape of a majestic stallion before charging towards Harry with unerring accuracy. The creature struck home, driving deep into the orb's darkness and breaking its hold on Harry. With a final scream of rage, the orb exploded into shards of obsidian-like crystal, its power shattered by Neville's Patronus. As the dust settled, they found Harry lying unconscious on the ground, his body racked with pain. Hermione rushed to his side, performing a diagnostic charm that revealed severe dark magic poisoning. "We need to get him out of here," she said urgently, her eyes filled with worry. "Whatever that thing was, it's done something terrible to Harry." Between them, they managed to carry Harry out of Azkaban, Luna leading the way through the now empty corridors. As they emerged into the cold night air, they found themselves surrounded by an entire army of Dementors, their forms coalescing from the darkness like shadows given life. But there was no fear in their hearts this time. They had faced down the darkness and survived. United, they would face whatever challenges lay ahead together. And with Harry cradled gently in their arms, the team stood ready to defend themselves against the legions of Dementors that awaited them. Their wands glowed brightly, their spirits unbroken, their friendship an unshakable bond forged in the fires of adversity. For they were Harry Potter and his friends, survivors of Voldemort's reign of terror, conquerors of Azkaban's darkness, and guardians against the encroaching shadows that threatened to consume them all. And together, they would prevail.